Okay, today we're going to be talking about a couple more concepts in our SRA math concepts. And we're talking a lot about money. And we've done a very good job at figuring out how much everything is worth. But let's just review. This is a penny. This is a nickel. This is a dime. And this is a quarter. So if we remember, a penny is worth how many cents? That's right, it's worth 1 cent. And that means I count by what? That's right, I count by ones. A nickel is worth, that's right, 5 cents. That means I count by fives. A dime is worth, that's right, 10 cents. That means I count by tens. Okay? And then a quarter is worth, that's right, it's worth 25 cents. That means if I had to count, I would count by 25s. We're not going to focus so much on the quarter today. We're going to be really focusing on ones, fives, and tens. So let's start with our pennies. That's a penny right there. A penny, as we said earlier, is worth 1 cent. When we use the penny, that means that we count by ones. So if I was going to count, if I had 1 cent and I wanted to count all the way up to 10 cents, I would simply count by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I think we're pretty good at doing that. But here's a $1 million question for us today. Let's say I'm at 35 cents and I have 1 penny, 2 pennies, and 3 pennies that come next that I want to add to this 35, but I want to count. Well, if I'm going to count by pennies, they're equal to 1 cent, which means I count by ones. This would be 35, 36, 37, 38. So right here I really have 38 cents. Same thing if I had the number 65. Just because my number is higher, if I add 1 penny to this, that means that I'm going to, because it's worth 1 penny, it means I'm going to count by ones. The next number after 65, if I count by ones, is 66. So here I'm going to put a number down, and I'm going to put some pennies with it, and I want you to try and figure out how much we have. Here I have 42, but I want to add these 4 pennies to it. Take a little bit of time and figure out if you can come out with the right answer. Okay, hopefully you started at 42 and realized that 1 penny is worth 1 cent, which means that I count by ones. 43, 44, 45, 46. I now have 46 cents. Awesome. Great job. Do a celebration if you got that right. Go ahead and do the roller coaster. Woo! All right. I'm going to get rid of my pennies here, and I'm going to switch to my nickels. I'm still on my roller coaster. Okay, so here is a nickel. And how much is a nickel worth again? That's right, it's worth 5 cents. So if I'm going to count by 5 cents, that means I count by, that's right, I count by fives. Okay? So let's say I'm at the number 30. And I want to add 1 nickel. Well, 1 nickel is worth 5, so I'm going to count by fives. What would be my next number? 30, 35. Correct. Okay, what if I had the number 50? and I added 1 nickel, I would then be at what number? Because I'm going to count by what? Fives. 50, count by fives. The next number would be 55. What if I had something that looked like this, though? Okay. I have how many nickels? 1, 2, 3, 4. Each nickel I count by 5 because they are 5 cents. Take some time to figure out what the answer here would be. Did you get this following answer? I hope you did. Let's check that out. Well, if I'm counting by fives, I have to start with 5. My next number would be 10. My next number would be 15. And my last number would be, that gives me 20 cents. But what if I had this? What are the values for these 2 nickels here? I'm going to make little lines here. You try and figure out what those 2 are worth. Well, I know I'm counting by fives, so that's 5, 10. This has to be 15, which makes this 20, and that gives me 25. Let's move on to dimes. It's always weird, I think, with dimes, because dimes are the smallest of all of the coins, but it's not worth the least amount. A dime is worth how much again? That's right, it's worth 10 cents. So if I'm going to count by dimes, that means I'm going to count by, that's right, I'm going to count by tens. So what if I had this many dimes out here? How much money do I have right there? Take some time to figure it out. Well, hopefully you got the correct answer. But each dime is worth 10 cents, so we count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You should have got 50 cents. But what if I have a number 60 and I add a dime? What's my next number? That's right, it'll equal 70. Very good. But what about if I have the number 55? That's not a whole number there. I don't have a rounded number there. That's goofy. But what if I add a 10 here? 55 and I want to add 10. That's right, I get 65. What if I have 90 cents and I add a dime? Who thinks they know how much money I have then? I actually would have 100 cents, or 100 cents is also known as a dollar. Okay? It's the same concepts with everything. Penny is you count by 1, nickel you count by 5s, and dime you count by 10s. So let's take a look at this stuff. I have 10 cents. As you can see, I'm putting some dimes out here. These are all different values, but I can still add them up. So my question is, can you figure out how much money is right here right now? How much money do I have out here? Take some time and realize that here we have a dime that's worth 10 cents, a nickel that's worth 5, and some pennies that are all worth these. See if you can figure out how much money we have here. If you broke it down, you should have broken it down like this: 10, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So there's 29 cents here. Okay, but let's try this a different way. What if we went like this? Okay, I'm not going to put the values now above. I'm going to tell you what the values are by writing the name down here. This is a dime, nickel, 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 penny, and a penny. Take some time to figure out how much is all of this worth. It's the same concept, except now I'm using words to describe my values. A dime is worth 10 cents, a nickel is worth 5, and a penny is worth 1. 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27. I have 27 cents here. Let's try one more. I'm not going to write any value or any word underneath it. And you try and figure out how much this is worth. Alright, hopefully you remembered that a penny is worth 1 cent, a nickel is worth 5 cents, and dimes are worth 10 cents. And I'm going to start from this end and go this way and figure out how much money I have here. 10, 20, 30, 35. I switched because now I went from a dime to a nickel. So 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45. Now I've got to switch again to a penny. 46, 47, 48. So right here I have 48 cents. Let's try another one with just the money. This will be our last problem for the day. And I'm going to put it just like this, but I'm going to mix some things up and see if we can figure out what I'm doing here. Okay? Take a look at that. There's no numbers, there's no words to describe what the values are, but you need to remember that a penny is worth 1 cent, a nickel is worth 5 cents, and a dime is worth 10 cents. Try and figure out what you get here as an answer of how much money I have. Okay, let's see how you did. Remember, pennies are worth 1 cent, nickels are worth 5 cents, and dimes are worth 10 cents. Let's count. Nickel, 5, 10, 15. Now I have a dime, so I'm going from 15 to 25, 26, 27, 28. I have 28 cents there. Remember, it's important to realize that when you get to different amounts that you have to switch your values. Here I was counting by 5s, here I was counting by 10s, and here I was counting by 1s. As long as I pay attention to what I'm doing, I'm going to be okay. Alright, that's the end of today's video. Wait for further instructions after you're finished to know where you should go next.